In today's episode, we are exploring the favorite counterpunch of Japanese boxing superstar Inoue. This guy has crazy skills, he's undefeated. Let's look and see what his favorite counter is and see if we can implement it into our own game. I'm a big believer in watching other fighters, watching the best in the world and going, oh, this is something they're really good at. I'm gonna try and implement it into my own game. Then you have to try it. You go, okay, I'm gonna keep it or I'm gonna disregard it, and you build your own style based on what works for you. That's what we're trying to do today. There's gonna be somebody who watches this episode who goes, oh my gosh, this counter made all the difference. And I'm so much better because of it. And Inoue is just a rock star in the boxing ring. Like if he wasn't 125 pounds or whatever he is, if he was a bigger weight class, he would probably be pound for pound best in the world. So let's take a look at this counter. Well, but first, sponsor of today's episode, XMartial. This company is so awesome. Some of the best apparel that I've seen in my entire life for martial arts. These guys are touring across the States, hitting up gyms, giving away gear, supporting amateur and pro athletes. I have a link in the bio to save you 10%, code Gabriel Varga. All right, so Inoue, what we're looking at here is how to counter the right hand. If somebody throws a cross at you, it could come after a jab, right? It doesn't necessarily have to be, oh, they lead with the cross. Could be a hook cross, could be a jab cross, doesn't really matter. But when the cross comes, what we're gonna do is at the same time or a fraction of a second after, and most likely a fraction of a second after because you're reacting to the cross, so you're gonna start a moment later. So this guy's standing here, he blasts off a cross. At the same time, you throw a fade back left hook. What is this going to accomplish? Well, number one, as the cross comes out at this level, you go over top it. As you throw that, you're landing, hopefully, to their head. There's a couple options here. I'm going to show you the first one where we land to the head. So I land to the head as I fade back. What I'm doing, you can see here with my body, is I'm shifting the weight as I throw my left hook. And this left hook might not be a knockout punch because of that weight shift, but that's okay, because as we shift backwards, we're minimizing any damage that that cross can achieve. And then from there, we load up into the uppercut. And if we happen to land the shot, then all of a sudden this guy's a little bit disoriented and the uppercut is really gonna mess him up. Alternatively, in the way that Inoue teaches it, is when the cross comes, you're actually gonna punch the cross arm. You're gonna kind of hook it, which is going to, instead of have them punch, it's gonna hook it and draw them down. So you can come a little shorter with that hook, right into about here, have your bicep or your forearm catch the outside of the arm, kind of the elbow, and then from there, as they fall forward, boom, land that big uppercut. Now Canelo is somebody who is very good at using this move, but he just goes fade back right into the uppercut. We're adding that hook in, which I actually like. I think the hook is a great technique, whether you're catching the outside of the arm or tagging them to the head. It's a great way to make it more difficult for them to evade that uppercut and to draw their weight perhaps a little bit more into it. Now, I feel like a massive part of this pullback and counter uppercut is what you do with your weight. The shifting of it and how to get a lot of power into that uppercut. Because if we just stand our ground here and we just kind of shift like this, I don't think we're going to maximize power. So I think really either stepping backwards with the hook, creating a little space and then springing in, or pushing off the back foot, or sorry, pushing off the lead foot and almost disconnecting this heel as I shift and throw my hook, boom, is now going to give me that explosiveness to come back into the shot. So if you are playing around with this, whether you're doing Muay Thai, kickboxing, boxing, MMA, I don't think stance is too important in the sense that, oh, you have to be down here to pull this off. You could be right in this stance, just a nice neutral one that's not too wide. Shift your weight backwards, heel off the ground, and then drive forward, heel off the ground. And that's really going to help you increase that power and potentially even increase the speed at which you can go one, you can rock back and then push back in. But I'll be real upfront with you guys. When somebody throws a cross, I generally am not a fan of leaning back and trying to come back with a counter that tight. I feel like the cross is too dangerous. But I played around with this last week, throwing the hook at the same time, and I find that is enough of a distraction for this person that they're not able to land that cross flush. Whether it be off their arm or tagging them in the head, as soon as I see that punch come, just that little shift back, boom, and then right from there, boom, coming right in. I've played with it. I like it. Is it going to be something that I'll add into fights? I'm not sure yet. I'll have to see how it goes in sparring a little bit more. But in that first week, I went, I can see why this left hook works better than just shifting. That extra technique there, even though it's not a big knockout punch, is really great. So I hope you guys decide to try out this Inoue favorite counter shot. And as you guys have seen from some video footage, he does a very nice job in his fights of landing it. And I'm sure, like I said at the beginning of the episode, somebody here is gonna try this and it's just gonna click for you. And it's gonna be something that you add in to your defensive repertoire. Those counters are so important to interrupt non-stop attacks. Thank you for joining today, guys. As always, train hard, and I will see you back here soon for another episode.